Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel as we continue our character class breakdown series. And today, we are going to be talking about all things Scavenger, which might just be the most fascinating new character class in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, up to this point, over the course of all of the gameplay trailers, we've actually gotten a pretty good look at the Scavenger class in action. And today, we're going to be covering all of the characters that we know for sure will be in the Scavenger class, the new abilities that the Scavenger class will have, including the multi-tool, which will feature the Breaker Blaster, the Net Launcher, and the Glider, and most importantly, we are going to be talking about those upgradable perks and how those perks will help you on your adventures as you scavenge your way throughout the galaxy. But before we get into all of this, Andreas, I believe we have a brief message.
That's right, Nick. We do. As you guys know, we have been well overdue for our next Q&A, the reason being because we've had so much LEGO Star Wars news, and we really do feel an obligation to get all this news out to you as soon as possible. So we wanted to let you guys know that the Q&A is still coming as soon as we get our arms around all of these classes, as well as any other pertinent breaking news about this game. We will be getting to that Q&A, rest assured, and you are still able to enter into that very special Q&A for a chance to win a brand new LEGO set. All you have to do is leave a comment down below with a Q&A question, like the video, as well as subscribe to the channel, and you're already in the running, right? That easy. Just to encourage you all to get into this Q&A, we have Bosk, who's going to give you some words of encouragement.
Your death will bring great profit.
Damn, Bosk! That's not really encouraging, but thanks. Anyway, let's get in the video.
This is Lunar Squadron standing by. We are ready to make the jump to hyperspace. On my mark, Lunar Squadron.
Now, to kick things off, we want to go over the characters that will be for sure in the Scavenger character class. Now, unlike both the Jedi character class and the Dark Side character class, the amount of characters that have been confirmed for the Scavenger class is not that many. Up to this point, throughout the gameplay trailers, we only know for sure that Rey will at some point be involved in the Scavenger class because we see her in her Jakku Scavenger appearance using all of the tools that the Scavenger class will have. We also know from the character list from the gameplay overview trailer that Chief Chirpa, an Ewok, will also be a part of the Scavenger class. So we really only have two characters that are confirmed for sure to be a part of the Scavenger class, but there's no way it's only going to be two characters. They wouldn't just set aside a whole character class out of possibly 10 total character classes just for two characters, right, Andreas?
Yeah, I mean, you're really correct here because, I mean, when you think Scavenger, you really do think Rey, right? When I think Scavenger, I immediately thought of Jawas. I mean, it is what they do. Jawas scavenge, of course, and then they sell all of their stolen property out of the Sandcrawler, like the little thieves they are. So that's, definitely at least one more character that I'm personally expecting to be in this game as a Scavenger. We know the Jawas are going to be in the game. They've been in the trailers, so I honestly am very excited to see which characters they are going to deem as scavengers in this game beyond that very limited list of Rey, Chief Chirpa, and the Jawas. Let us know in the comments down below what characters do you guys think are going to be scavengers in this game. If you guys have any ideas, we'd love to hear it. But you know what? I think that's going to do it with listing off the characters for now. Let's get into these abilities because that's really where most of the interesting features are about the Scavenger character here are these abilities, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the main ability here to talk about is that multi-tool, is at least what I'm calling it, the multi-tool that the Scavenger class will have, which was highlighted in the gameplay overview trailer, which features a Breaker Blaster, a Glider, and a net launcher. Now, up to this point, we have seen the glider in action. We actually saw that in the gameplay trailer that featured before this one, where we saw Rey flying around on Jakku. Now, at that point in time, we did not know that that was just going to be an exclusive ability to the Scavenger class. We actually thought that might be something that multiple characters and everybody would be able to do, but it looks like it might just be contained to just the Scavenger class. Now, Rey was wearing her Scavenger appearance when she was using that glider in that gameplay trailer, so that kind of confirms that the glider might just be locked behind the Scavenger class. We also, in the gameplay overview trailer, got a look at the net launcher. We saw it on Oct 2, where Rey uses it to scale the side of that rock to get up to whatever is up there. Honestly, anything could be up there. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of loot, whether it's a Kyber brick or one of those little chips that you can use to unlock extras, something like that. And then there's one other tool within the multi-tool, and I know this one, Andreas, is one you're really interested in, and that is the Breaker Blaster. Now, we haven't really seen that in action yet, but what are we thinking that can do?
Yeah, we definitely haven't seen it in action, and that's where all of my intrigue about this one comes from. And if you just look at the overall theme of all of these tools, what I'm gathering is that scavengers go places. They go into the, far away nooks and crannies of the galaxy to collect their trinkets and thingamabobs and all these little devices that they gather to ultimately sell for a very modest, portion of portions in Rey's case.
1/4 portion.
It looks like the Breaker Blaster is also going to go along that theme of explorability and unlocking new areas. The Breaker Blaster, what I am speculating that this is going to be, largely has to do with some doors that we've seen, or at least cracked walls, I guess you can call them. You can see one clearly here on Tatooine. It is in a shot where you can see all the way in the back left-hand side of the screen a cracked wall. There is some light passing through, some blue light, which appears to be breakable. And it only makes sense that the Breaker Blaster is the tool that you're going to use to get into this area. And that's not the only place that we've seen this very similar cracked wall. We've also seen it on the Petranaki Arena, on the back wall of the Petranaki Arena, in the back left, again, just hidden in the corner of this shot here. You can, again, clearly see it is a cracked wall, which is just begging to be broken, and the one tool that we know can possibly break this thing, or at least sounds like it can, is the Breaker Blaster. So my money is on this Breaker Blaster, allowing you to go into some of the more secret areas of the game, areas that you wouldn't be able to get to with a Jedi or a Sith. You're going to have to use a Scavenger, and just like we've talked about in this video, some characters are going to have multiple appearances. Rey's definitely going to have a Jedi appearance in this game, but she's also going to have a Scavenger appearance. Maybe some other characters will have Scavenger appearances as well as a backup appearance, which gives them the ability to start using this multi-tool. Now, I think the next very important thing to talk about with any class, but particularly this class, are the perks that we're going to be using, and they are by and far in line with this multi-tool, right, Nick?
Yeah, definitely. So getting into these perks, I want to start off actually with the second perk, and I want to leave the first perk for last. I think it's for obvious reasons. When you take a look at that first perk and you see the little art board and the paintbrush, I think both you and I were kind of confused as to what that could possibly be. So I kind of want to talk about that one last. I want to get into the other three that we kind of know for sure what we think they will be dealing with and what they might do to help you along the way. Now, the second perk, to me, Andreas, seems to be clearly talking about the net launcher and increasing its capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're completely correct. You can see, it shows 3 boxes stacked on top of one another with arrows going up, showing that vertical movement that you're going to have. Now, I guess this is, first of all, this is completely in line with the vertical track by which you are going to be shooting the net launcher at, which will tether the net to those latches, and then you're able to climb up. Now, I guess the real question here is, what are the 3 levels of upgrades for this perk? And I guess we have a few ideas. I mean, for starters, maybe you can climb up faster. Maybe you're limited at the amount of nets that you're able to shoot in a limited period of time, and so this lets you shoot more. Maybe there are 3 levels, and there are some, areas where you have to use level 1 nets. Some areas level 2, which is 2 stack nets, and then some areas are level 3, which is what we see in the trailer with 3 stack nets. I mean, beyond that, I don't really have any more ideas for what this perk could be upgraded to.
I really think the rule of 3 applies here. We keep seeing 3 when it comes to that net launcher. Like you said, on Oct 2, it's 3 total nets to climb there. There's 3 boxes in here, and there's 3 upgradable levels. So my idea for this perk was kind of what you were just talking about, where perhaps at level 1, you can only shoot 1 net. So you can only climb up areas where you're only able to use 1 net. Level 2, then you're able to access areas where you will have to use 2 nets that you have shot. And then level 3, like we see on Oct 2, you have to use all 3 nets to climb to that much higher location, which might have more exclusive loot. So I really think it's as simple as the rule of 3. 3 upgradable levels, 3 possible nets, 3 boxes on the perk. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, and it's really good to see so much verticality in this game. I just kind of want to reiterate how much verticality there is. I mean, we've seen the latches that you kind of go up to go to, more exclusive areas of this game. We've also seen the zip line, which looks like it goes to some crazy cool places. We've seen, a lot of very high up towers that have the zip line leading up and down. And now we have yet a third way of getting to places. And then the next perk that we see here, speaking about going to places which might have loot in them, is what we believe it looks exactly like the Breaker Blaster here. And my theory for the Breaker Blaster perk is there are going to be small doors, medium doors, and large doors in the game. The smaller doors are going to have, lesser loot behind them, so on and so forth. And you're going to have to level up that Breaker Blaster to get to the more exclusive areas with the tougher doors that are tougher to knock down. That's my theory on this one. Again, I'm speculating at this point, so your opinion's just as good as mine.
Yeah, I think you're correct with this one. I think it's going to be one of those things where you need to have your Breaker Blaster at like a certain level of power to be able to access certain areas. We see this with other games in the past, this exact same mechanic. The only thing else I could possibly think of is it would increase its capabilities to perhaps damage enemies, but I think that's kind of a reach when it comes to this perk. I really think it's going to be dealing with the level of accessibility you will have with some of those breakable walls. Now, the next perk we want to talk about, again, I think just like the previous 2, is pretty obvious what this one is dealing with. It's talking about the glider. We see the little plus symbol above the glider symbol. Now, of course, that is a glider symbol because it's a paper airplane. Like, that's clearly talking about the glider, in my opinion. Now, what we think this perk will deal with, well, the plus sign to me indicates it's going to be dealing with the overall range that you will have when using the glider, or perhaps the height you are able to take the glider. Now, I think that kind of matches up with what the upgrades would possibly be. At level 1, you're only able to travel a certain amount of distance, go a certain height. Level 2, you can go a little further, you can go a little higher, and at max level, you can go the highest you possibly can in this game, and you can go the furthest you possibly can in this game with the glider. I think this one was pretty simple. What do you think?
I mean, I totally agree with you here. I think this one's a no-brainer. I think that, what the Scavenger class is all about is getting to areas, getting to those corners of the galaxy, and it's what makes this class so appealing. And it's honestly, this is one of those classes that you have to upgrade sooner than later in this game. If you really want to get to all of those corners and see the whole galaxy, you have to upgrade the Scavenger class. There are going to be some areas in this game which, if you don't have, the height capabilities of using the glider or the distance capabilities for the glider, you're not going to be able to get to those areas. You're going to want to upgrade this class. Now, there's one perk here that is not like the others. The other 3 go hand in hand with the multi-tool, yet that first perk is a paint palette with a paintbrush, which, I'm going to be honest with you guys, we have to reach to kind of guess as to what this one is at this point in the game, because we haven't seen any, you know, painting or skins or graffiti mechanic in this game. So it kind of leaves us up to the imagination as to what we think. I think a really cool thing that this game could do could be, you know, a decal system where you can kind of like spray paint your own custom decals onto fighters like X-Wings and so on and so forth. I would love that, and I'm not saying that just because I'm biased and would like to spray Lunar Squadron logos on everything in the game. I just think it would be cool for everybody, you know, to get their hands on that mechanic. I mean, what do you think this could be, Nick?
Yeah, you know, my initial impression when I looked at this perk was sort of that, like you said, vehicle customization. We've seen it in previous LEGO games where you could have that ability to customize vehicles like that. I would be a little disappointed if vehicle customization is in this game and is locked to only the Scavenger class. That would be a little disappointing, but when looking at that perk, I really just don't know what else that could possibly be. It really stands out from the other three because the other three are clearly dealing with helping you get to places that no other characters can get to. Now, I just do want to touch on one thing you said earlier and kind of really reiterate this, how important I think it is going to be to really progress the Scavenger class really fast and really early in this game, because it's going to let you get to that loot, let you get to those extra Kyber Bricks, which then you can turn around and use to upgrade the other character classes. To me, the Scavenger class is clearly going to be more of that support class that really helps you gather resources and increases how much resource you actually have to upgrade the other character classes. From these perks, it doesn't look like you're going to be dealing with damage or the total amount of damage you can deal or how powerful you are. It's really just helping you get to those places to get that very valuable loot that you need to progress your other characters. So I really think it is important to get the Scavenger class upgraded fast and early in this game. Getting back to this first perk, Andreas, that's honestly my best guess, is it has something to do with vehicle customization. I would love to open this up down to the comments, to be honest with you, and just get some ideas from some of our viewers.
Yeah, I completely agree. Let us know in the comments down below what you guys all think this first perk is, as well as do you agree with us on our other takes on what the other three perks have to do with, as well as what the upgrades for each perk could be. Also, we'd love to know your thoughts generally on the Scavenger class. Are you guys excited to use this class? Do you agree with Nick and I that this is a very important class in this game? For me, I just love exploring all of the nooks and crannies of a game, especially a game that's taken 5 years to develop. Just thinking of all of these secret areas that must be hidden throughout this game just gets me really excited, and it would be a shame to miss out on any of these locations just because I hadn't upgraded my Scavenger class to allow me access to them. So I'm going to be upgrading this class probably first, and for that loot reason, just like you were saying, Nick. So that's what I think. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, I would ask you to please consider joining the Lunar Squadron. It's very easy to enlist. All you have to do is click that little red subscriber button and the bell notification button right on next to it. It's going to let you know every single time that we upload, and you're going to want to stay in the loop because it'll let you know when we are doing our next breakdown, which we already know what it's going to be, but it will remain a mystery until we upload it. Thank you all so much for watching this one. That's going to do it for today, and we will see you all next time.